Jadi awak kok bisa fenomen. Tingi, boy. Alas kita kawan na ito. Turn on the TV. So then that is you guys are ready to know. I am one. Like I went for the camera. What? I can't. But then I'm too good.
Boa tarde. Apologies for my late start, but I'm here now and let's get started. So we have our paper 1 coming up next week. So this is actually our last class. So let's get right into it. Will be 6 questions. Half of the paper, which is questions 1 to 30, is what we call the listening part. So your teacher will be reading and you will be answering the questions. Right, and then from number 31 to 60, it's where you will do everything on your own. You have your questions, the answer sheet, everything there. So I'm going to look at a specimen paper from the CSEC syllabus to just get an outline of what the paper looks like, because the paper 1 is a little hard to come by. So anyway, let me just pull it up on screen and then I'll share with you. Just give me 1 second. All right, so let me just share the screen with you. All right, so let me just go to the paper 1 section. So you need to understand the layout of the paper and how to go about answering, because it's not your typical paper 1 that you've been doing for the exam so far. So let's just go from the beginning. So this is a specimen paper, and this is what the paper comprises of. So part A is the listening comprehension, while part B is the reading comprehension. And the paper runs for 1 hour and 15 minutes. So the instructions are basically like all the other exams. You have 60 questions, you have to answer them on your answer sheet and so forth. Everything remains the same. Now your listening part, you have from question 1 to 30. So your teacher will come in, your Portuguese teacher, and you will see, this is what you will see on your question paper. Question 1, you will see 4 pictures, A, B, C, D, and the teacher, you will hear your teacher read a single sentence. Now, when your teacher reads that sentence, you have to determine which of these pictures is being described or being talked about in this sentence. Like it says here in the instruction, right? So the teacher will read, "O rapaz vai começar a correr." Now you have to listen in your mind, try to understand what is being read, and then see which of the pictures really match this sentence here. O rapaz vai começar a correr. So they're basically saying the young man is going to start the race. So of course that answer is D, because it's Hapaz, young man. Now, bear in mind, you will not be seeing this sentence, you will be hearing it. All you will see are these pictures. And this is from question 1 to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. This is for the first 8 questions of your paper. Now, it's important to listen to this for the subject of the sentence and the verb that comes there. Because, like number 8, you're seeing everybody sitting. So, which means that sentence will have the verb sitting, but then you'll have to listen to the subject if they're talking about a woman or a man, an old man, a young man, wherever. And if they are sitting on a bench or on a chair, these are things we need to listen for. We're going to look at them. I just want to go through the structure of the paper with you. Next, we're going to go to our section 2. That's section 1. So section 2 now, you're on your paper, this is what you're going to see. Runs for number 9 to 16. All you're going to see is this. Now, what you will hear the teacher read is a sentence or a sentence and a question. Now, this is what the teacher will read. For example, mãe, esto com muito fome. You see it marked twice there. In the teacher's script, you will also tell the teacher how many times they have to read. So the teacher will have to read this one here twice. Mãe, esto com muito fome. And then the question that follows, o que esta pessoa está querendo? So you have to choose the answer that matches this. So it's saying, okay, mom, I am very hungry. What is there? Or what are we having? Or what is there to eat? All right. Or what does that person want? And then you put, well, the person is hungry, so they need something to eat. So the most suitable answer is uma massa, which is an apple. This is the listening part again. So you will see number 9, A, B, C, D, and then you have to listen to what your teacher will read. The CSEC doesn't send somebody to do this part. Your teacher, the one you're familiar with, they're the one that's going to be doing this part for you. Now, section 3, you will hear a series of public announcement or selections followed by a number of questions. So you will hear like an announcement and then the questions and you choose the answers like a comprehension, but you're not seeing it. So you have one selection, second selection. And then we go to section 4. This is a comprehension. Now the section 4 is where you will listen to a passage. You see, you have part A and part B. You will listen to a passage and then you will answer the questions. The questions are provided. Like you see here, what city does Marcos want to visit? So this is the last part that your teacher will sit with you to do. The teacher will read the passage. I think it's 3 times. Yeah, the passage is read 3 times. Part A, then part B, then part A and B together, then the teacher reads it the final time. So you get enough time to listen and probably make little notes, but not on your answer sheet. And then you go ahead and you answer, and this is the end of the listening part. Now, this is the part that you do on your own, the reading comprehension part, where you get to read your question and select your answer, which is kind of similar to the first part. It's just that nobody's reading anything for you here. So you have some questions with the answers, all of them here. Then you have a passage that is incomplete, and you have to select the words that is most suitable for the blank spaces provided. And then your section 3, almost like the same thing again, where you have an incomplete email or another passage or maybe a little letter, and you have to choose a correct word to go into these blank spaces. And then you have, this is an announcement. I cannot, oh no, it's, well, it can either be an announcement, it can be an advertisement of anything. And you answer questions, and you have a little paragraph here, and you answer question. That's basically the structure of your paper one. So we're gonna work the second half of the paper first, which might not seem logical, but at this time, for me, it is, right? Then we're gonna go to the first part. So because I have to look at the teacher's script and you have to look at the answer. So we're gonna go to the first part to see how to deduce or to figure out what or how we're gonna answer this question here. So I want to leave this on screen for a few minutes. There are 6 questions. I'm going to leave it on screen for a few minutes for you to give it a try, and then we'll go it through. See if your reasoning is the same as mine. So I'm just going to leave it like for a 5 minutes. I'll be here, and then we'll do it together. So let's see what you come up with for your answers. All right, look at number 31. I want you to give me your answer. I'm going to read. So, number 31 says, amanhã não vou acordar cedo, porque minha loja vai estar. Which one of the answers? A, B, C, or D? Anybody?
D.
I didn't get that. B or D?
D.
Nathan, you're saying B?
Yeah, D.
D?
D.
All right. So, can anybody tell me exactly what the sentence is asking or saying? You can utilize the chat if you wish.
Saying I will not be early tomorrow because I believe it's store. My store.
Tomorrow. Okay, look at this verb here. Acordar. What is this? What does this verb mean?
Oh, good question. Oh,
Can you
means
acordar?
to wake.
Right. So tomorrow I'm not going to wake up early because my shop is going to be pretty. That's definitely out. In English, what do you think the answer might be to that sentence there? Tomorrow I'm not going to wake up early because my shop is going to be what?
Close.
Closed. Now, do you see the word for closed anyway here? It is. But can you recognize the word?
I really think it, well, through elimination it should be B.
B. Yeah, elimination works. I'm sure you would have done it in some of your papers already. Yes, elimination, by the method of elimination, we can get our answer because there's something about clients here. That's nothing to do with close. Muito grande, you know that, you know bonita, so most likely B. So fechada indeed means closed. So there are ways in which you can deduce your answer in the exam, but you have to be careful. Now let's look at 32. 32 saying, ele não gosta de something, de manhã cedo, pois prefere ir à praia depois das 17 horas. All right, these are verbs. What are some of the words that you can pick up here? And which answer do you think is it?
One thing you can pick up is study and maybe read
You pick up
newspaper.
study. Oh, the verbs, yeah. Study, read, pensar is what?
Nothing else you should pick up here.
Pensar is to think, nadar, swim. Now, which one of these you think is the answer based on what is being said here? Now, do you know what this word is?
Nope. We have to figure out the rest.
A praia. Do you know where it's a place? Anybody? A praia is beach. So which one of those verbs might be associated with the beach?
Maybe A. A.
Nadar. The sentence is saying he does not like to swim in the early in the morning, but prefers to go to the beach after 16 hours. So that's number 32. Let's look at 33. But we're gonna have to go back. Nós ganhamos muitos presentes no Natal. Nós estamos muito. This is a giveaway. You see muitos presentes. You see Natal. Then you must be.
Happy. D.
Which one of this is happy?
D.
D. Contentes. Definitely by elimination, you know it can't be A because A is tristes, which means sad. Doente, sick. C. Cansados, tired. So D. Contentes, more like content. So when you get a lot of presents, you get a feeling of content, happy. So contentes is also another word that's used to express like, you know, a good feeling, being happy, satisfied. So number 34, eu preciso digitar texto no computador, mas no momento não temos what? This is something you know, you can recognize that. You can recognize computador.
C.
C. I need to type a text or I need to type something computer, but at this moment okay, because it's temos, we don't have electricity, right? Well, they're saying electrical energy basically. So yeah, C. Now let's look at number 35. It says o sol está muito quente e não chove há muitas semanas em São Paulo. O solo está totalmente what?
A. It's talking about
A.
sun. So
Yeah, we're talking about the sun. The sun is very hot and no rain. There's no rain um for weeks, for a lot of weeks in Sao Paulo. So the place or the soil is totally dry. Seco. Now we're at 36. It says sempre cuido do jardim, cuido das something das flores e de outras plantas. What do we have? Anybody? You see jardim, you see flores, you see plantas. Which what else can go with those? Look at the answers. All right, so let's look at our options. So you have gatas, you have nuvens, pessoas, árvores. Any option here? Nobody? If you're given this question in the exam, how will you deduce your answer? Nobody's saying anything to me. All right, so we know that gata is like a female cat. Nuvens is clouds. Pessoas, people. Árvores, trees. So if we're talking about garden, then we're going to talk about trees. Right? So the sentence is basically saying, I always take care of the gardening and I take care of the flower trees and other plants. Flower trees and other plants. I'm thinking a comma should be here. But anyway, there's no comma, it's flower trees and other plants. And look, there's two more. Oh, there's two more here. Animal selvagem aqui em casa. Quem deixou a porta? So you can see the word animal and you already know that we're talking about an animal. They're saying something about here in the home. So it's saying, well, Nosa, wow, and wild animal entered in the house who left the door open. So we need to recognize, um, okay, we're looking at the wild animal here. Who came, who left the door open, aberta. Next, you have number 38. Os turistas gostaram da Guiana e agora eles também estão muito something para conhecer o Brasil. Which one of these do you think? So, os turistas gostaram, the tourists like Guyana, e agora, and now they also are very something to know or to get to know Brazil. Which one of these do you think is the correct answer? Triste des Desanimados, preocupados, entusiasmados. Are they sad? Are they not excited? Are they busy, or are they feeling enthusiastic? Well, the answer here will be, of course, this one here, because they liked Guyana, and now they are also very enthusiastic to know or to get to know Brazil. All right, let's take a minute with this one here. Okay, I scrolled a little too much. Let's look at the instruction. It says, in the conversation below, select the word or phrase which will make each sentence grammatically correct. Then shade the corresponding space on the answer sheet. Your paper will have this, so you know exactly what you need to do. So this is a little paragraph. A imensidão do Brasil. So it's about Brazil. Let's look at the answers. Read it through and see if you can fit in the answers. All right. How do we feel about our answers? Anybody want to give it a try? Now, let's look at our answers before we go into what we have here. Now, you will see there are, you're not, you don't get questions directly testing certain things, but they are tied into certain sections. Like, for example, you have articles here. These are your indefinite articles, uns, umas. This should be easy because remember you're choosing based on the noun, singular, plural, masculine, feminine. Here you have some pronouns as well. Your and singular, plural, male, female. These are you have you have some verbs in between. You have some preposition. Close the door. Right. So let's look at the first one. It says a República Federativa do Brasil é o terceiro. Terceiro what? Any answer. Just give me whatever you think might be the answer. Mayor, grand,
B.
menor, A
B.
or B? Okay, so you're saying all right, is the third largest in the area, and the second. All right, any other suggestion? All right, now while you choose Granji, you're saying third big, right? Now, here's the thing. Even though it might be the idea of it, excuse me, might not be wrong, the word is not correct. Now, if you're gonna say in English, if you want to say something is a third, or it's, or if you go doing a comparison, you're gonna want to use like words like bigger or larger. So if you use grande, grande will not be the correct word to use in this content. You would have to use a mayor, if you get what I'm saying. If you don't understand, let me know. So the first one is saying a República Federativa do Brasil é o terceiro something em área. It's the third biggest or largest in the area. Now, grande means big. It just means big. But mayor means like the biggest of it. So you're using that when you're making a comparison. So while grande might mean the same thing, or it's implying the same thing, the correct word to use here is mayor, because you're seeing the third largest and the second most populated country. Oh, I'm jumping ahead. So number 39 is A. É o segundo mais populoso país, something Americas. Now, which one of these will agree with Americas? Americas, it's plural, but which one?
C.
Das Americas. Good. So that's what, so you're not just looking at the answer, but you're looking at what follows. Sua área total Number 41. The total, so you're talking about total surface area. Which one of these will you use? You have to choose the
Tempted,
one to say, okay, in English, would you're choosing which
temp,
one?
tempting to choose B.
And A is correct. A is A, which means is, right? And we're talking about the size of something, which is a permanent quality. Now, even though esta means is, it will be incorrect to choose esta because esta is used for talking about temporary qualities, temporary characteristics. Now we've got number 42 here. So where are we? So we would have talked about the size and population. So we're talking about aproximadamente. Uh, we have here a big number sorry, 88 milhões G. Which one of these? We're talking about people now. And it's, of course, going to be more than one. So we got to choose a plural one. So it's
I'm
either
looking at
C or
C.
D. Do we choose habitantes or immigrantes?
I'm looking at C.
Habitantes, because you're thinking, we're talking about the people that living in that area. So habitantes is the one here. Good. O Brasil something em 26 estados. Which one would we
Um,
choose here?
A.
You're saying Brazil is divided. A? Are you sure? Remember, we're just talking about one country. One country is divided.
Oh. All right. C.
C. Careful. I know you chose A because you looked at estados, correct?
Right.
But the verb agrees with the subject, which is o Brasil. So careful. And these are the very little things that can cost you a question in the exam. So, yeah. Distrito Federal Brasilia y è subdividido en oh yes, so we have it's divided into all right, so we've got 5,500 y 64, big number. Well, you can see it as it is. So it's basically divided into all of these municipalities, right? Well, we would say that. Anyhow, let's come over here. O Brasil é something país. So we're at 44. Which one of this would you choose to describe? It has to be singular because we're looking at, now here's where it, just now when we did number 43, this is a verb which is chosen based on the subject. But when we're choosing an article is selected based on the noun that follows. So the article has to agree with país, which is country, singular. So do you think now your task is to determine whether it's masculine or feminine? So which one would you go with? O Brasil is something país. Brazil is a country with, vast diversities and so on. Which of these articles will agree with the word country? It's either or uma, but you have to decide if país is masculine or feminine. Anybody? All right, so país is a masculine word, so you're gonna have to go with right? País. And then we have the next one here, which says conhecido especialmente. Which one do we choose here now? Por, pelo, pela, para. Do we choose por, pelo, pela, or para? How will you go about choosing an answer at 45? Which word do you have to look at? Do you know? We're at 45. Do we select the answer based on this word, or do we select the answer based on this word? Diversidade. Because you're saying, okay, the country, it's known especially for its diversity. So we're choosing Pela for its diversity. And again, we're choosing based on me. And then the last one, what are we doing? Which one? Do we choose SEO, SUA, meio ambiente, diversity of its environment? B, because meio ambiente. All right, so we would have already exceeded our time. I started late, sorry about that. But this one here with the email, it's basically the same thing you have to do. You have to just remember, if you do have the syllabus, you can go through this in your own time, but just a few pointers. Let me just run it through quickly. And let me see, is there another class coming in? I don't see anybody else coming in for another class. A few classes would have already closed off because the exams are finished. So I'll just go over for 5 minutes to just recap because we don't know what's going to come for the exam. I don't know what topics, but it's just a few pointers to bear in mind when you're answering your question. For these ones with the picture, it's important for you to look at the picture and see what's happening. Identify who's in your picture and what each picture is doing. So that when you hear the sentence, listen for the subject and the verb that follows. And if you want to write, I think the invigilator will provide you with a piece of paper to just scribble down, whatever you hear. If you do not hear well, I know, let's say, something in that same moment while the teacher's reading the result, some noise coming from the outside environment. Don't be afraid to ask the teacher to repeat. So that's for this picture part. This is know your prepositions, because for this one here, the sentence might be okay. You know what's under or on or over. These pictures are really testing your verb and preposition skills. Well, this one here, this number 9 to 16, this is how the paper still comes. This is question answer. You have to provide the answer based on a question that you will hear your teacher ask. Of course, this one I'm saying again, your teacher will read a paragraph with the question and you choose your answer. So what I would always say to the students is look at your answer. You look at all your answers. So when you start listening for your passage, you're going to try to listen to see if any of these things are mentioned in the passage. So when it's time for your question, you will know that, okay, yes, they did mention something about ji sauji. The same goes for this part here. Read your question and your answers. And then when your teacher starts reading the passage for you, you take note of if any of these is mentioned. And of course, this part here, well, this is where you do it on your own. Like I was saying here, if the options given are verbs are determined based on the subject. That's in front. Everything else, when it comes to articles and prepositions and pronouns and so on, whether it's demonstrative, possessive, you select them based on what follows. Only your verbs are determined by your subject. And the same will go for this part here onwards. All right, so I don't know, there's not much more time. Everything is up to you guys now. I hope you do well for your exam. Remember, if you don't hear the question clearly with the first part, be sure to ask your teacher to repeat that. But at the set time, you don't want to use up too much time asking questions and asking your teacher to repeat, because you only have 1 hour and 50 minutes to complete this paper compared to other papers where I know you get 1 hour 30 minutes. This one is 1 hour 15. I'm not sure why it's so. It's just, limited time, but that's what it is. So we're gonna just wrap up here for today, and all the best. And I hope you do well. Adios. Why it's so. It's just, limited time, but that's what it is. So we're gonna just wrap up here for today, and all the best. And I hope you do well. Adios. Why it's so. It's just, limited time, but that's what it is. So we're gonna just wrap up here for today, and all the best. And I hope you do well.